back to the YouTube channel on Pro Enzo Vids, and this is my North Queensland Cowboys 2023 season preview. And so, look, it's gonna be interesting to see how the Cowboys do go this year, because a lot of expectations to be repeated again this year because of how they went last year and stuff. And obviously, they still have a fairly well put together team, and they still do have talent from last year that probably should back up their form, but we'll see anyway. But no, the Cowboys are a tough team to pick for me, because I think there's a lot of potential there, and I think they've got some things building there too. So we'll see how they go this year, because I think it'll be another interesting year that could potentially be big, or that could potentially be a bit more of a backwards type year, but we don't know yet. So it should be a good year though, either way for them if they get it right. But without further ado, I'll get into my season preview right now, and obviously I'll start with the best 1 to 17 that I'd pick for the Cowboys. So the best 1 to 17 that I'd pick for the Cowboys will go something like this. So at fullback, Scott Drinkwater. The wingers would be Cole Felt and Murray Tuilagi. My centers would be Peter Hiku, and obviously the other center being Valentine Holmes. My halves would be Tom Did and Chad Townsend. Props would be Jordan McLean, Ruben Cotter, and hooker Reece Robson. My back rows would be both Lucian Leilua and Jeremiah Nanai. And with Leilua, apparently he should be free to play some point this year, but either way, I'll still have him in my starting team if he does come back a bit late during the year. But yeah, they're my back rowers. And then my lock would be Jason Tamalolo. Then off the bench, I would have Jake Granville, Cohen Hess. I would also have probably, tough one, Heelan Lukey, and I'd probably also throw in Griffin Neen too. So, look, I was thinking about Tamo just for a second there, but I think they've got enough young quality to step in instead. So that there would be my Cowboys 1 through 17. Not a bad team actually on paper. Okay, onto the club's strengths for 2023. So this is some of the Cowboys' strengths that I believe are there for the Cowboys, like some of their strengths. And I think one big one for me is probably how, they've kept most of the same team. Now, this is a funny thing, because sometimes keeping the same squad's a good thing, but it can also be a bad thing too if things don't change. Because I don't think it's always good to change. I don't think it's always good to keep the same sort of. Okay, onto my weaknesses for the Cowboys this year in 2023. Now, they don't have many weaknesses, so they're lucky. They don't have much concerns about their playing roster or just about the way the team is. Like, there's not many issues there, so that's a big plus for them. But I'd say maybe out of everything that's a weakness, probably just the depth in the back five. Like, I don't know if they have the great depth for the centre and wing positions. We've got Latian Mosadreki, who was pretty good in trials, and they've obviously got Brendan Elliott who could fill in there, but I don't think they've got that much to choose from other than just a few rookies in that the centre wing department. But I could be wrong. But just from what I've seen before, it doesn't seem like they've got the best cover for those positions. So, yeah, look, I don't know. It's not the biggest weakness, but it's just one I think that could be a bit more better, is a depth in the backs. So I'm sure it's an easy thing to sort out anyway. But I don't know. There's not much weaknesses actually, so they're lucky. But I guess the concern about them having second-year syndrome is a big one. But, I don't know. I mean, hopefully they don't. But I guess that's one of the things that is very high about them potentially struggling with second-year syndrome. But we don't know until the season starts. So, but yeah, the Cowboys are lucky. They don't have much to worry about this year. On to their best signing for 2023, and obviously the Cowboys only signed a couple of players and really not much at all. But, Jack Kozewski they've signed, and James Tarmo. I've got to say James Tarmo is probably their better signing, probably, because Tarmo has proven that he's a great player in the past. I mean, he's obviously lost form and is getting a bit older now, but yeah, obviously his career is really good, and he still does do a solid job when he's on. So I think probably him being a signing would be good. And I don't know, I think it'd be tough to see Cowboys leave him out of their top 17 team. I think he'll get a bench spot at least, but wouldn't be shocked if he just is the 18th man or something. But yeah, no, look, James Tarmo, I think it's not the best signing, but it's definitely a signing that gives him a bit more experience and quality. So I guess you got to take it as how it is. So Tama is probably their best signing. Okay, on to the Cowboys' biggest loss of 2023, and they haven't lost that many really. I mean, they lost a couple to the Dolphins mainly, but not a whole lot of losses heading into this year. But I'd say the biggest one out of them all would have to be Hamiso Tabwa-Fidea. Could have said Gilbert, but I think Hammer's the bigger loss. But I know he didn't play anyway for the Cowboys because he was playing on the interchange, and Scott Drinkwater basically stole his fullback position that easily. So he went to the bench and didn't really find the same form ever since. But I just think the talent that Hamiso has and the potential he has as a player, it's frightening. So it could be one of those situations where the Cowboys do one day regret losing him in the long run. But look, I think he left for a good opportunity to play fullback and start, so he deserves that chance to Hamiso. But, it's a tough position to play in. It's not always easy, so hopefully he goes well and handles it okay. But, yeah, it's not the easiest position to play. But I think Hamiso is a big loss for the Cowboys because he was one of these great rookies that came from the Perth Nines in 2020, and he basically broke into that Cowboys side ever since. And, yeah, I don't think many people thought he'd leave in the first place, but there we go, he did. So hopefully he does well with Dolphins, but it could be a big loss to the Cowboys in the long run though. Okay, on to the Cowboys draw now. So I'll go through sections of their season, give my thoughts on it, and sort of talk about what I do think about these opening games, and I mean just the 10-week gaps between the games they do play and stuff. So this is how they start round 1 to round 10, which is a pretty crucial start to the season for any club. So round 1, they take on the Raiders on a Saturday afternoon at Queensland Country Bank Stadium in Townsville. Round 2, they take on the Broncos at Suncorp Stadium on a Friday night. Round 3, the Warriors at Townsville as well on a Saturday afternoon. Round 4, the Titans at Townsville as well for a Saturday afternoon. Round 5, the Bulldogs on a Sunday night at Accor Stadium. Round 6, the Dolphins at Townsville. Round 7, the Warriors at Mount Smart Stadium. Round 8, the Knights at Townsville. Round 9, the Sharks at Cronulla. And round 10, the Roosters at Suncorp Stadium for Magic Round. So the Cowboys' first 10 weeks aren't bad, but it's not easy when they do play the Sharks and the Roosters back-to-back weeks around round 9, round 10 at Cronulla and Suncorp, where Roosters are relatively really good there. So yeah, no, that's a tough period, I think. I mean, Raiders, Broncos, the first two weeks are a bit tough, but I do think with the Broncos, they are a bit of a mixed bag, and I think Cowboys can get one over them potentially. But round 1's a big one because I think Canberra can be a dangerous side to the Cowboys in Townsville, so definitely won't rule a one win from the Raiders happening there, that's for sure. But yeah, their first 10 weeks aren't bad, and from round 11 to round 20, it goes like this. So round 11, they play the Dragons in Townsville. Round 12, the Tigers at Leichhardt. Round 13, the Eels at CommBank. Round 14, they got the Storm at Townsville. Round 15, Dubai. Round 16, the Panthers in Townsville. Round 17, the Rabbitohs at Accor Stadium. Round 18, the Tigers at Townsville. Round 19, at Dubai. And round 20, it's Manly at 4 Pines Park. So looking at that sort of middle season of the draw for the Cowboys, a lot tougher actually than the first part of the season. Like, they end up playing the Eels at CommBank. Well, actually no, the Tigers are a tough one at Leichhardt because their record there isn't that good, even though they won there in 2021. But yeah, they've got Tigers, they've got the Eels at CommBank in round 13, then round 14, the Storm at Townsville. Round 15 to bye. Then round 16, they've got the Panthers in Townsville too. Then Rabbitohs at Accor, and Tigers again at Townsville. So that particular round 17 to round 13 period will be very tough for the Cowboys. And that's Origin period too, so they should have a lot of players out for those games then. So it's a bit tough, I reckon, that one. Then on to round 21 to round 27 to end off their campaign for the year. It's the Eels at Townsville for round 21. Round 22, the Titans at Seavar Super Stadium. Round 23, the Broncos at Townsville. Round 24 is a bye. Round 25, the Sharks at Townsville. Round 26 against the Dolphins at Suncorp. And round 27 against the Panthers at Bluebet Stadium. So I think this is a lot more of an easier period for the Cowboys. Like, not that hard, actually. It's not that challenging. Of course, you know, playing the Broncos at Townsville will be a good game, as they always are close, usually there. But, you know, apart from the Panthers at Bluebet for round 27, that whole last section of the year is not that hard for the Cowboys, so it's not a bad draw. Okay, on to my final prediction for the Cowboys in 2023. Now, if you watch my ladder prediction for this year, you know where I had the Cowboys, and obviously it's a shock to many people where I did have them, but I'm backing it, and I'm not going to change it. So, but for those that don't know, you're about to find out where I did have the Cowboys, and I had the Cowboys finishing 9th place. So not in the 8th, not in the 4th, 9th place, a spot outside the finals. So that's tough. I know that would be very heartbreaking for the Cowboys if it went that low and dropped off, but you know, there's obviously reasons behind it, and obviously that's been explained in the ladder prediction video. But look, I just think with the Cowboys, you know, it's I don't know. I find it hard to believe that they'll back up the same form into this year. Like, it's possible that they can, but I feel like with a team like them, sorry about that. But with a team like them, I believe they're not established enough to prove that they are a consistent finals team. Not yet, anyway. Could be wrong. Could be talking absolute BS right here. But I think with them, it's about just showing that they can be another team that can back it up and be that side that, you know, they can make them forward again for another year in a row. So I find it hard to believe that they will be anywhere near that, but I guess time will tell. But for now, I have them 9th. But everyone, that brings an end to my 2023 North Queensland Cowboys season preview. I hope you all enjoyed. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and please, I'm getting very close to 3K subscribers, so please subscribe if you haven't already, and comment your thoughts on the Cowboys in 2023. But until then, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.